are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Morning talks or afternoon talks to some people in this world. Salute to you guys, or whatever time it is to you guys. Um, I want to talk some boxing. Now, I just dropped recently a video about Bob Arum. D-Town Blaster, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. First on the chat. Gold and blue. Bars. How you doing this morning? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing very good. Paul Huge, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Ryan Watterson, what's up, dude? Andrews in the house. Counterpunch. Jim Brown with that wrench. Hot damn, I made it. Yes, sir. How we guys doing? How we guys doing? Hit the thumbs up on your way in, family. Yeah, let's hit that thumbs up button. Let's hit that thumbs up button. We got to talk about some boxing because I was yesterday. I tuned in on a live stream. Gerald, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Hooligan music. Hooligan music in the house. Counterpunch to you. Terry, is it Cecil? Counterpunch to you. Out there in California on the map. Phil Warner, all good from Wales. Kurt, what's up, brother? Wales in the building. Home of Joe Calzaghe. The Italian Dragon. Joshua Little John, what's up, brother? Salute to you. What's up with the Manny Ryan fight? Well, it went from a full-fledged fight. Now it looks like a watered down exhibition. That's what it's looking like, but people are not going to get married to that. And if anything, Ryan's popularity is going to plummet if that's the case. John Butler, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Halim Boston, good afternoon, Kurt. So the Spence, the Ducker then. That's exactly what I want to talk to you guys about. I tuned into this channel. I don't know how old or new it is or whatever, but it's Blood TV. And you think blood, you think of Blue Blood, but it's Blood TV or Blood Sports TV or something like that. I think it's Blood TV or Blood Boxing or something like that. Sounding a lot better now. Yeah, I'm getting better every day. I'm like doing it 92%. You know what I mean? I'm just getting all the congestion out. I'm on my juices. You know, I do my green juice one day. This is the red juice. Like, this has all the beets and all that stuff in it. Gloves are off, sweet science. Counterpunch is the best. You got the best factual content. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. John Flora, Counterpunch. Good stuff. Very good stuff. It's just messy. It's because it's red tint. Mark Mendoza, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Manny would be better off just telling Ryan to go get him a switch. It would be more entertaining. Yeah, like watching these dudes go revert back to like amateur style or exhibition to that nature. No. You know what I mean? I don't think that's because even looking at that and you compare that to fighters of like Mike Tyson in his Legend League, that even looks worse because at least Mike Tyson and Roy Jones went out there and did what they did at their age. They didn't need any headgear. So if those guys, those older guys that been through everything they've been through in the sport, came back, are willing to put it on the line again, even though they're 2-minute rounds, it's a lot better than freaking headgear. Doesn't even make any sense. But Ryan Garcia, he better not take that, you know. If he lets Oscar De La Hoya put him into some type of sanctioned, brisk fight like that, it's not going to go good for him. He's going to go back under those kings because they're going to clown his ass. You're fighting the legend with fucking headgear. What's wrong with you? WDE, what's up, brother? Your channel will rise like a phoenix from the ashes unless a thief comes in the night with 6-inch nails. I do have 6-inch foot nails. Or is it 6-inch foot nails or is it 6-foot-inch nails? Whatever. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the super chat. Counterpunch to you. Um, David Bailey, salute. Always consistent with quality content. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thank you, David. Terry, yes, I'm proud of you, doing a lot better. People are sick. I'm just going to sleep now in California. You have a great show. Enjoy your day. Terry, appreciate you, man. And I hear California is like on lockdown, and I hear it's really bad over there. And then the more stuff they talk about new strands and stuff like that, it's like the more I hear of new strands, the more like, is it mutating? Is it what? More it just reminds me of the freaking flu. You know what I mean? Like people taking flu shots, then now you have COVID shots and all that stuff. But then yet you have now new signs. It's like, you guys figured that out that quick. You have a new strand. Oh, okay. But then you didn't know what the hell you were dealing with for damn near a year. But now all of a sudden you know of new strands all of a sudden since you have a vaccination. Just sounds fishy, man. I don't know. Not saying people are not getting sick. I'm not I'm not one of them dudes, but I'm just saying I don't know. They fight like hell to get the top and then become timid. Jim Brown, that ain't no lie. I don't know what's wrong with these fighters. Like, you don't have Roy Jones Jr.'s no more. You know what I mean? And if, like, the only person that is even remotely resembling those type of guys is like Gary Russell Jr., and he ain't fought in like a year. Maybe he's getting put on timeout. And look, Al Heyman puts him on timeout. Uchiawa, more grace, brother. Thank you. Ryan is 22 years old. Why the heck is he fighting a 42-year-old? Well, why the hell is he fighting? Why the heck, is he fighting a guy with headgear? I hope that's not the case. I hope that's just a rumor. Tired of all these games they play in boxing. Hooligan music. Me too. I'm with you. Andre Rodriguez. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Always top banter. Keep it up. Appreciate you, man. Red Wave Video. Yep, I'm in Southern California right now. It's a lockdown. Took me an hour yesterday just to get into the bank just to see a teller. Damn. London in lockdown to at least March. Wow. Professional channel. Kurt, did you see my message yet? Did I see it? I don't know. Let me see. Let me check real quick. Because I know I got home and I check my phone. Oh, you know what? I need juice. You know what? In fact, let me use my battery charger to plug in my phone. But I'll check in a second when I charge that up. Do you think the saying is true, when you become rich, you're not a warrior anymore? No, because I think it's just a time frame. But a lot of people blame Floyd. You could blame Floyd for an idea, because you can't kill an idea. You can kill a person, but not an idea, right? Floyd created this idea. He created the idea of fighters getting paid more, fighters looking more on the business aspect instead of a competition aspect, more for financial than legacy. And not to say, and I know he taught people this. Al Heyman taught him that. And he spread the gospel like wildfire. That's what he did. If you look at it, like, Al Heyman is God. Floyd Mayweather is Jesus Christ. You see what I'm saying? JP, blessings to you, brother. With the mask deal, why aren't the eyes also covered? It's just required to drive with the shit on your face all the time. Actually, I'm cheating. I should really just have it off. But I don't know when somebody's going to come by, so I can, quickly put it on. Bivol versus Zerto. That would be a good fight. I would be excited. The only two fighters that are moving like they need to be moving are AJ and Canelo. But look where they're at. You know, we're seeing two different types of. Let's hit that like button. We got 81 on the chat. We need 300 likes. But you can see the way they're moving, in the way, like, over here, how they base, like, a lot of these American fighters, or these American base fighters, they're giving you the bare minimum of competition, of opposition. They're giving you the bare minimum. Whereas the UK, they're striving to make big fights. We need to do better over here. We do. We need to do better as a country, like our mindset. But, like, if everybody tries to be like Floyd, and the irony of that, everybody, like, yeah, Leo, I'm working. I'm at work right now. Like the vid, lads. Is it? Oh, Sion Burns. Appreciate you. Big up yourself, Counterpunch. TM, Counterpunch to you. Philip Hollerin. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Philip Hollerin in the building. Hollering and shit. You see by his big words, he's hollering, and his name is Philip Hollerin. I think that's pretty cool. But charging for a steak and giving us a hamburger. That's true. That's exactly what. They're charging you a ribeye price and giving you a fucking cold ass, cheap ass patty on a hamburger. Everyone is looking for what the blueprint is for making bank in boxing. Is as it's a secret. Fight the best possible opposition and people will watch. It ain't rocket science. Yeah, but people are trying. You know what it is? They're trying to work smarter and not harder. And they're applying that to boxing. That's all they're doing. They're applying this shit to boxing, and it sucks. It sucks large, big, fat rhinoceros cock. Because what they're doing, they're trying to be like a guy that's not even around no more. But he spread and he left that idea with the sport of boxing, and it's spreading like cancer. Do we conflict with England? Do they want all the belts in England? Fuck Mark Mendoza, I guess so. Since Mike Tyson had his latest fight, how come every other retirement fight has gone quite well? I don't know. But I know that Mike Tyson is the dawn of the older heavyweights. They're resurrecting like a phoenix from the ashes. Alliance, what's going on? Counterpunch to you. Is it Alliance Inglese? Counterpunch to you. Reptile Lifestyle. Kurt, I saw the U.S. death numbers shout out for wearing the nasty mask. Yeah, and they say a lot of these masks don't work, so it is what it is. Good analogy. From the 4,000 per day predicted. What, deaths? Yeah, I doubt that shit. David Allott. Salute, Kurt. Salute to you. I'd love to see Hunter versus Parker. Would White versus Ortiz. Ruiz versus Wilder. Cian. I would like to see all of those. Or Cian. Is it Cian or Cian? Tyson was overrated, to be fair. Got put down by the Hall of Famers. We need to talk about a 20-year-old Ryan Garcia wanting to have a potential exhibition fight. Alan Skill, what's up, brother? Peace and love to you, too. I'm a general, not a captain, though. How far do you think Michael Hunter can go in the heavyweight division? Leo Williams. You know where I think Michael Hunter's going to go? The same direction as Demetrius Andrade. Not fucking far lately. He might have a pretty good record, but I don't think he'll get the opposition or the opportunity that he needs, because I think when he left Eddie Hearn had so many heavyweights that he can allow fighters like Michael Hunter that people don't demand, that people really don't look at, fall through the cracks. AJ will retire at 50-2. Damn, I doubt that. I don't think he'll fight. I mean, that means he's going to have to fight 10 more years to get that amount of. Think about it. 52. He would have to fight a lot more than that. Shit, he only has like 24 fights now. Tyson, one of the most avoided fighters. No, Tyson Fury is not one of the most avoided fighters. I disagree with that. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to fight Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury makes that available. You know, he makes that happen. See, Tyson Fury the things that he said he was going to do, he ain't done. Out of 3 fighters he said he was going to fight, he only ended up fighting 1, and he ain't fought him yet. And his name is Anthony Joshua. He said he was going to fight Wilder again. What happened with that? He said he was going to fight Dillian Whyte because Dillian Whyte deserved the opportunity. Then he turned around before Whyte got knocked out anyway and said he wouldn't fight Whyte. So, no, I don't think that people are avoiding him. Who's avoiding him? HB, who's avoiding Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury was a cherry-picking duck about boxing.
Indeed. Hey, I have that check if we're going to use her.
Nobody avoided him. Nobody avoided him. Let me see. Nobody avoided him. Yeah, it is. I was saying Yang. What? I was saying Yang? Good job. I like your judgment about boxing. Indeed, you really have a deep knowledge in boxing history and event. I like your videos. I salute you. Appreciate you, brother. Fury wants to fight AJ, though, Kurt. Well, I mean, who wouldn't want to fight AJ that ain't scared to fight AJ? See, most people want to fight AJ. It's just the person that claimed he wanted to fight AJ didn't really want to fight AJ, and his name was Wilder. But everybody else isn't an idiot like that. They don't think like, oh, I'm afraid. No, they think of how much fucking money they can make from AJ. So I mean, that's what makes him and his team so. That's what makes him so stupid. Okay, because they would rather take less money, fight lower opposition, call out AJ's name, boost their profile on their fighter without even causing risk of his fighter getting beat. But the irony of it is he got beat anyway. So no. And of course Tyson Fury wants to fight AJ because he knows, based on what he was able to do with Deontay Wilder and he got him out of the picture, he knows, like, look, I'm going to go for Anthony Joshua. Because he knows fighting Anthony Joshua would be more lucrative than fighting 3 or 4 Deontay Wilders. There. Of course he would want to. The money's there. Tyson Fury's no idiot. Vladimir is scared of Tyson. Anyway, he's not. How is he scared of Tyson? He filed for the rematch that never happened. If he was that scared, he would have retired like he did with Anthony Joshua. Counterpunch. So I don't know how Vladimir is scared of Tyson. Tyson Fury is crazy. Good at positioning himself into big leagues, considering how little top opposition he has fought in his career. It's phenomenal, really. It is. Vic, it is. But that's Tyson Fury. That's why it's only one Tyson Fury. I can't wait for this first AJ versus Fury press conference. The fight will happen in early June, which means the first press conference will probably happen in early April. Absolutely. So, Slotello, I'm with you on that shit. I can't wait because you know it's going to be trash talk. You know Tyson Fury, he might pull out that old dusty ass Batman suit and run around. Hey Jay, I'm gonna beat you. You know what? He might come out in a fucking Andy Ruiz costume. This is gonna be a bigger fat man that beats you, AJ. Hey, Juice and Jay. Rolando Torenzo. Morning, Kurt. Do you like the Ryan is trying to fight Manny? I wanted to see Tank, not Manny. Not what I'm hearing now. Not what I'm hearing, Rolando. Like with headgear, what is that about? Halim, great Roy Jones Jr. Everyone avoided him. Came a time no one wanted to fight him. But I mean, Roy was pretty much by himself though for a long time. Roy was like Mike Tyson at a point. It was a point in time where Roy beat every ass there was. Why do you think he had to go? Do you think if Roy Jones Jr. would have done what Gennady Golovkin did in his career and stayed in one freaking weight class, you think anybody would have beat him at 160? Let's just be real. Do you think anybody would have beat Roy Jones Jr. at 160? Think of all the people that went to 160. What if Roy said, you know what? I'm not going to 168. I'm not going to 175. And I'm not going to heavyweight. I'm not going there. Or cruiserweight either. Imagine that. What if Roy Jones Jr. decided, you know what? I'm going to stay right here on the hill. I'm the best middleweight ever. I'm better than Hagler. I'm better than Duran. I'm better than all of them, man. I'm Roy Jones. I'm going to whoop all of them. I'm going to sit right here. I ain't going nowhere. This is my kingdom. I'm going to stay where I'm at. I'm going to be where I'm at. And I'm going to whoop whoever come to me. That's what I'm going to do. Because I'm Roy Jones Jr., see? I'm the baddest man. Physical in the house, baby. Let's do it. Everybody come to me. They got to come through me. You want to come to 160? You want to get beat? Meet me. I'm the baddest man that's going to ever be at heavy middleweight. Watch what it say. Watch what it say. Real talk. Everybody want to come here? Everybody want to talk to me? Y'all want to come to me? Come fight. We'll meet. I beat anybody that I meet. That's what I do. Just come to 160. Ain't gonna be no catch weight. I don't care how big or how much money you got. Or Oscar De La Hoya, you can get it too. Bernal Hopkins, you want to get whooped again? I'm gonna whoop you too. Felix Trinidad, you coming to 160? I'm gonna tie your ass up too. Look, think about what I'm saying. Roy Jones had to go way the hell up to be beaten. His first loss was a disqualification because he knocked the guy out because the guy refused to really fight. He just laid there like a bitch. Montel Griffin, he laid there like a bitch. You know? And then that's how they ended up taking it. You know, they had to cheat Roy, basically. Golovkin did the same shit. He hit Lemieux when Lemieux was already to the ground. He was already on the knee, and fucking Golovkin, boop! You know what I mean? You know? The rematch, he destroyed him. Yeah, when he was fucking knocked out because he went all the way to 205 pounds, and then lost all that muscle mass to come back down to fight Tarver, where Tarver was at a comfortable weight because he was that particular fight. He was at that particular weight naturally. Roy was fighting guys that were a lot bigger than him. What's going on, family? Just got free from work, going late. Much respect. Merle Dixon, counterpunch to you. Mike Hall, what's up, brother? Counterpunch. AJ should train as if this is his only fight with Fury. As if there's no rematch, because Fury, don't be surprised if he does take the rematch. AJ might not get a second chance, so he better be ready. Slotello presents. You're absolutely right. That is one of the best counterpunches I've heard this morning. Salute to Slotello presents. Listen to what he said. He said Anthony Joshua better fight like there's no other fight. Because knowing Tyson Fury, you don't know if that fight, okay, even if that fight I feel ends in a draw. Look how hard it was to get the fight with Deontay Wilder, the rematch with Wilder. That shit should have happened in 19. Those guys fought in 18. Understand that. He decided, yeah, he went for the money. I mean, I don't blame him, but it's one of those things where he took a deal with ESPN. If these guys were so eagerly to fight each other, he would have just fought them already. The point I'm trying to make is it's hard. Like when Tyson Fury, when you fight Tyson, there's no guarantee based on Tyson's life and the things that he decides to do and his choices and such. There's no guarantee that he's going to be that guy that gives you a rematch just that easily. And if he beats Anthony Joshua, he might not give him a rematch anyway. And look, and if he does, don't be surprised if you won't see a second fight. You know what Tyson Fury could do? He could make all that fucking money that first time like Floyd and retire. Think about what I'm saying. He's already talking about retirement checks. Do you see Anthony Joshua saying retirement checks when he talks about Fury? No, that's Fury's words. Okay, so listen to what I'm saying. If Tyson Fury beats Anthony Joshua, there's no guarantee he'll fight him on a rematch. I'm with Slotello Presents on that. Counterpunch to you, bro. Third time's a charm. What do I mean by that? He pulled that shit with Klitschko. He pulled that shit with Wilder twice. Anthony Joshua, why not? Why wouldn't he? He got a fat ass check that he's never made. He's made more money in one night than he's made his whole fucking career and 5 other people's careers, right? Including Wilder's. Why would he come back? For all we know, if Tyson Fury beats Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury could do the same shit he did. I don't want this to happen, but I'm just saying this is a possibility. He can revert back to the same way that he did or he was when he beat Klitschko. Shit could start crumbling. Shit could start getting to the point where he's drinking a little bit too much. He's staying away from home too much. He's not training as much. You know what I mean? Like people that have mental illness, and mental illness is, a lot of people like to throw that in there, but like diagnosis may not be that. He might have just been an alcoholic. That's a mental disease. You see what I mean? Mental illness is vast. You know what I'm saying? Well, I just did that to take the pain away and whatnot. Well, I mean, maybe you might revert back to doing that. You know, we don't know. See, he's just too, he's not balanced to that. He's too uneven, right? So no, I'm with you on that. That makes a lot of sense. Please, Kirk, can we have you do a news segment in all the accents and impersonations? Boxing news with Ruiz Jr. Oh my God, you're brilliant. Vic, yeah, that's coming soon. Why not? What's going on, family? Damn, Kirk. Now I don't know which is better, you Floyd or your Roy Jones. Roy Jones, man. Look, Roy. I grew up watching Roy, man. When I was 14, 15, Roy was fucking destroying people. He was the fighter of the decade for 10 fucking years. You know what I'm saying? The fighter of the decade without a loss. See, Manny got that shit and he lost a few times. He lost to Morales. He lost to... He didn't lose to Marquez. Was it a draw? So he had a draw and a loss. He was knocked out in 12, so that doesn't count. But Roy reigned. Roy dominated. Roy didn't have any, damn, I think he could have lost that fight. No, Roy kicked every ass from 1990 to 1999. Right? I still hate Tarver. I mean, you know what? I didn't like Tarver. I didn't like him. I mean, here's the thing. Tarver fits in that same category to me as Lewis. He was gifted. He was a good fighter, but he wasn't as popular. He wasn't as known, you know. And I think because he wasn't as popular, because he wasn't that known like that, they made him fight harder. So it was a good thing for them, but still, it didn't stop the reality of not really being that dude. People didn't really know, like Antonio Tarver, he was that rival of Roy Jones from Orlando, okay, because they fought each other harder or whatever. But he just wasn't that dude. He wasn't really likable. I mean, to me, you know. He didn't really get cool to me until I seen him beat and I seen his attitude. When he was fighting guys like Eric Harding, guys like that, I really didn't like him. I didn't. Gerd, my brother, I've just come and just took my son out for a few hours. Hope you're doing good. Tony Lyons, I'm doing great, bro. Smash the like button, boxing fans. Yeah, let's hit that like button. We got over 100 on the chat. That means we need to get 300 likes. Fury never does rematches. He did it with Wilder and Klitschko. Exactly. If he does that shit with Anthony Joshua, third time's a charm. And he'll get his ass on his merry way and ship on and sell on out of boxing. He'll be doing WWE. He'll be doing movies and shit like that. He'll do everything else besides get back in the ring. He'll retire unbeaten. He'll be like Floyd. He'll be hanging around Floyd. There's Floyd, my boy. We're the undefeated fighters of the world. I beat AJ. I beat Klitschko. I beat Deontay. I'm hanging out with Floyd. Roy Jones Jr. as a heavyweight would not have done as well at all. No, he wouldn't have. That's why he knew not to be there, but he tried it because there was nothing else to accomplish. The man was probably the best middleweight ever. Think of Roy Jones Jr. at middleweight versus, you would have to have him in the ring with like Sugar Ray. He would have destroyed Hagler. Because the way Hagler fights, Hagler couldn't handle those. Look, Hagler couldn't handle Sugar Ray Leonard. You think he can handle Roy Jones? Somebody bigger and stronger? Are you serious? No. Roy would have knocked him out. Roy was very powerful for one middleweight. And that's another thing. He still had power, but he wasn't knocking these guys out. He was making them look bad. He was beating the shit out of them. He was wrapping them and with left hooks, rapid, multiple left hooks and nasty hooks to the body and straight rights. He hardly ever threw a jab because he didn't need it because he was that good at distance. Man, look, Roy Jones Jr. had to move, had to leave his comfort zone because he was too good. Those bitches at HBO, like Larry Merchant, those guys were mad because he was that dominant. They did that shit to Floyd Mayweather too. He was that dominant and they hated it. And now you can see, those guys after they retired, not guys, but Larry Merchant in particular. I don't know about Jim Lampley. I'm not going to just throw him in there, but Larry Merchant was that guy that showed his true colors when Fury beat Wilder. So I'm just going to enjoy this, So if you look back and like, okay, you criticize other black fighters though. You did that shit for no reason. Because maybe you just didn't like the idea of them being dominant. It's bad. It's really bad. But at least you get to see someone's true colors. And they hated Roy for that. But what was Roy going to do? So Roy was like, I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to go to 168 and kick that ass too. And 175. And it just got carried. He just got carried away with being dominant. He was like a Genghis Khan in a sense. He was this guy that, hey, who wants to challenge me? You think you're better than I am? Mic check. So I'm back. Anyway, you think you're better than I am? I'm going to prove that you're wrong. I'm going to prove that I can beat you. So I don't think people understood what Roy did and who Roy was and the things Roy could have done. And he was the heavyweight champion of the world at one point. Believe it or not. Chris Shuck, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. I'm feeling a lot better. A lot better. Fury could be lying just to get the heat off of his failed drug test. Lying about what? All the depression. Oh, all the depression. Okay. Matt Sedillo. Wilder can't handle defeat and Fury can't handle victory. AJ only won with a champion mentality. Matt Sedillo. Damn. That's pretty impressive, man. Counterpunch to you. Good counterpunch. Because what we
Hey,
know.
Jordan.
What we know. Okay, I now see how that happened.
Jordan.
What we know is we know that Tyson Fury, when he beat Klitschko, he couldn't handle it. So Matt's right. He couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle the victory. Now, there's a lot of theories and a lot of other things you can add to that, definitely. Um, it's one of those things where if maybe he was juicing at that time, maybe he was taking that shit to give him an edge, and he needed a diversion, and maybe it was the mental illness or whatnot, But I can tell you this: Tyson Fury, I look, the evidence of that is the man did gain what 130 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So you can't say. I mean, that's what happened. People, you eat like shit. You just stop caring. Tyson Fury's never been that big, so you know what I mean. He fell off at some point. So something was wrong with him. I don't know if he was depressed. I don't know if it was mental illness. A lot of people do like to throw that in there, like, well, maybe it was just a diversion. Maybe it was, but if it was a diversion, I think if he intended to use a mental illness as a cop out, I think karma hit him anyway, and he still got mental illness because it ended up happening to him. It's almost like you lie on something. Let me give you an example. That's just like if I didn't want to come to work, I would say, "Hey, man, I don't feel good. No, my daughter don't feel good, so I'm gonna have to call in because I have to spend the day with her." And they say, "Okay." And then the next week, something actually happens to my daughter. You see what I'm saying? That could have happened like that. That could have happened to Tyson Fury. It could have happened. Not saying it did, but it could have. Because there's no reason for you to get 400 pounds. There's some sheer sign that something's wrong, buddy. You don't get 400 pounds. I mean, that's a sign of you don't give a shit. You stop caring about certain things. That's the evidence right there. You don't just gain for you. I have mental illness, but you look fine. You know what I mean? Versus, hey, I have mental illness, dude. You're 400 pounds. What's wrong with you? And that's happened with other fighters. Understand that, okay? It happened to Shannon Briggs. It happened to Buster Douglas. Okay, those guys got 400 pounds, like huge. Ask them. Ask these guys. Research this shit. Buster Douglas got depressed and went home and ate like a fucking sloth, like a glutton. Shannon Briggs too. That's why both guys lost the weight. I don't know about Buster, he's still kind of big, but Shannon Briggs is a better example of, hey, you did that. You see what I mean? You got that off. That's why he created that slogan. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. He did that because he knows those type of things, it motivated him to lose all that weight, to break that mental illness and stuff like that. Now, not saying that they're perfect people, but what I'm saying, Buster Mom died though. What's up, Kurt? Comatose. Boxing. What's up to you, brother? Yeah, he did. Did. She did, sorry. I mean, it made him fight more, and that's his claim to fame. He dethroned Mike Tyson, the undisputed youngest heavyweight champion that ever lived. He did that shit. Buster Douglas, a guy with 5 losses, did that. So, it is what it is. Prince Nassim went fat too. He looks like a fucking toad. He does. HB. Halim. He does. Isn't nandrolone linked to depression? HB, I don't know. Yeah, Nassim, he doesn't look anything like that. Nassim, man, in a perfect world, he should still look the same. Little gray. Still talking shit. And he's just a fat dude. He looks like a fat fucking gas station owner. Looks like he looks like he owns a couple hotels and shit. You know? Nassim's son is a fighter. Never heard of him, Andre. Who is he? Fight should be announced early February. First press conference should be early April. Fight should be early June. Let's go. You know what? I gotta counterpunch my main man, Blue Blood Sports TV, because he was raring everybody up yesterday, losing his mind. Speaking his speak it, believe it, receive it words of inspiration and hope that the fight doesn't happen. The big stall. I think it's called like something like that. I heard it yesterday. I'm like, dude, you gotta be fucking kidding. You're killing me with that shit. He's still thinking that fight ain't gonna happen because of Wilder. Here we go. It's February. This is Blue Blood Sports TV. It's February. And we still haven't heard any announcement of Chris Shook, salute. Andre, salute. Fight fans, we love fight fans, salute. I see you, King. Halim, I see you, King. Holy Osho from Lagos, Nigeria, salute. I see you, King. Where's the announcement? See, where's the announcement? This is a big stall because they know there is still a holdup on the arbitration, and things are still going on behind the scenes. Sources tell me that this fight is not going to happen. And people are throwing hundreds and shit. I'm like, dude, are you at some church fucking speaking bullshit ass blasphemy gospel to these people and they eating that shit up? You know what I mean? They're all fucking retarded. I mean, they're throwing big. I'm like, damn, Blue Blood, I ain't mad at you. You get these people believe all this shit? Damn. Sources tell me. Sources, King. I see you. I see you, R-Man. Salute. CD, salute. Joshua Lil John, salute. Jim Brown, salute. Sources tell me that the arbitration king, Mad Margin 1981, salute. Comatose Boxing, salute. That this fight is not happening. WDE, salute. And people are throwing that fucking money. Bim, 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 bim. I'm like, dude, they think this dude's fucking Blue Blood Sports TV missionary Baptist church or some shit. I'm like, wow, wait a minute. Sid H, salute. I see you, King. I see you. Did Blade get Bob and Don yesterday? He's got a fucking sword run. Had me running. No, I don't think he got him yet. You need to heard it. Bob Aaron been slayed. He's coming for me, baby. Yeah, I mean, that is like some, this is like Corona. So, people are paying their tithes, paying their offerings through, super chats and live streams. And, you know what I'm saying? They're doing a lot of donating from where they're at. So it's more convenient. But this guy, you swear that's a platform of a congregation of church. And I'm like, wow, man. And it's impressive. But I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, it just shows you that these guys, they have a certain type of platform that support him based on what he's saying. You see what I'm saying? He's saying like, oh, well, it will not happen because Deontay Wilder is still a force to be reckoned with, is still in talks, is still holding this fight up. That shows you the true power and the true influence. HB, I see you, King. Jock Ansat, salute. Lady Sean, salute. That Deontay Wilder is still the man with the power. That being said, there will be no fight. You don't wait this long to promote a fight to that magnitude if that's the way it's supposed to be. If that fight was happening, they said May, then they say June. That tells me right there that they're just bluffing. They are bluffing. Blue Blood is his own source. He is. Sources tell me. Oh, they do? They do, Blue? What source is that? I'm the source. I'm the source. Now that would be totally different if like that's something like, hey, I believe. No, it's based off sources. People throwing them dollars. Kurt, do you have Twitter? Yes, I do. Kurt DeVille. I pity Wilder super fans. Yeah, they hey, you know, and it is crazy. You can tell it's weak, having a weak mentality, not being able to think for yourself. You don't want people that are that like that influence that quickly. You know what I mean? Like it's good, and like I'm glad that they're supporting the person that they watch and believe in. But the stuff that they believe is not based off fact. But the fact that he's saying they're coming from sources, that's why he's so influential over there with those guys that really don't look at anything else but that. You know. But that being said, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, he wants that fight, Wilder, and you got to look at the dedication too. Um, Most people would have just said, you know what, shit looks like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Oh, it's random. Lady Sean is random. Near 6 years since Fury fought a top boxer with skills. There you go. My sources tell me Kurt versus Chisora in 2029. Salute. Paul Smith, salute. I see you, King. Well, no, I mean I looked at I was at a live stream because he was live after I went live, and he was saying that the Joshua Fury fight ain't gonna happen because Wilder still has like a great influence on the heavyweight division. So basically, he's holding it up by the situation that he has, like based on everything we've already heard, to contradict that. Blue Blood is still saying no. This is the case. That's what's happening. Fury a bum. AJ should fight mandatory Char next. No, he should fight Usyk next. He shouldn't fight fucking Char. And Char's not a mandatory. Char's just a WBA regular. He has to fight Trevor Bryant. That's his next fight. I think people believe anything he says because he's related to Larry Hazard or whatnot. Who the hell is Larry Hazard? CJ, salute, brother. Sri Lanka. Kurt from Sri Lanka. Nice. Stefano Alvarez. Mike Tyson. The legend. I generally believe some Wilder fans would rather Fury and Wilder be inactive and in court for 5 years, seen in unification for Fury and AJ. Well, I don't think it would matter, though. I don't think it would matter, Martha, to a lot of them, too. You know why? I think they would rather not see a fight because it doesn't affect them either way. Because they're going to make content. If they don't have content to report, they're going to create content to make. They're going to make up some shit. So they'll do that. They'll get. Today we heard Tyson Fury lost today's cross-examination of Team Wilder because Team Wilder presented new evidence. That's right, new evidence that, like I told you, shout out King, shout out Victor Bada King, Corey Bradley King, salute, Martha Stubbs salute, Bad Boom Rusin salute, that we promised you that he would have. In the court case, he has lost. And Akeem, that motherfucker will just, he lost he's lost every day. So it would be more about, it would damn near turn into court TV versus boxing. That's what it would be. It would be those guys in court, and sources tells me this, and rumors tell me that, and this definitely proves that Tyson Fury will lose and be stripped, and the one is taken off of Deontay Wilder's record. Kurt, if you're not busy Sunday, I get a coach Oscar on Instagram. Have you interview with him? You got it. He's on Billy Joe's team, right? Kurt, you are more entertaining as Blue than he is. Look, Blue Blood, he's a hard worker, but I think at some point those guys have to consider like that they're gonna fight. Like give up the, like Wilder has this. Wilder should be focusing on his next fight. And if you're a fan of Wilder or you support Wilder, you should be promoting the next fight, not promoting some shit that you either don't know or you heard that may not be true. Because more than likely, Blue Blood heard the same shit that I heard from someone else. But I'm not basing that off of something. I'm not going on out on a die on a hill on that shit no more, because the people that told me some shit about Wilder, it found out to be not necessarily false, but contradicting. So, and each time you heard something, you heard someone else that is higher up say, no, that shit ain't true. So you're like, okay, well, what the hell is this about? But you counterpunched neatly yesterday about the guy who asked Mauricio a question about the trilogy, and Mauricio shut it down. So why is there any more of the matter then for them? Because look, if you give a guy, Lady Sean, check this out. The reason for that is when you shut someone down and they're already reaching, it's not going to stop them from reaching. It's just going to stop them from reaching in that particular window or that particular avenue. Okay? They're going to just pick another avenue because they're looking. They're not basing it off fact. They're reaching. Reaching is something that you could reach for anything that may not be there, so they'll make up some more shit. It just shows you they're just making shit up. I just did a video about that. Oh, stay tuned. I just did another video about that because and here's a sneak preview, guys. Mauricio was in the fucking room. He was in the dressing room of Tyson Fury. You see what I'm saying? So, like, the more I'm about evidence, I'm about real shit. I'm about what really happened. I thought Tyson Fury when he beat Verlad and Corner, and when Fury was fight against Wilder. Okay, sounds cool. Fury is a fraud, bum, lost 8 times. Who do you lose 8 times by? Stop typing the same thing. Damn, we get it. Who's doing that? Who the hell is Victor? Kurt, Fury's the biggest fraud in bum boxing, right? Fury never fought a top fighter. Vlad and Chisora had off nights and Violin won. Violin won? No, Violin should have won by the fact they should have stopped the fight. But he didn't win the fight. Come on now. Counterpunch. You got to take... I know you don't like Tyson Fury, but like trolling Tyson Fury for shit, no. Doesn't matter. D-Town had to blast his ass. You're out of here. But, nah. Kurt, AJ is going to open up Fury's cut. I mean, if that happens, they're going to... See, here's the thing. That would be interesting to see something like that happen with Tyson Fury, because will the same thing happen? Will they let that fucking fight go another 10 rounds? That shit happened in the second round of when he fought a Violin. In the Violin fight, that was in the second round. Then he got another cut. Wilder should have won because Fury was down for 57 seconds. We heard it all now. Damn, he said that too? That would have been interesting to hear. I like guys like that, like Exposaholic and shit. They come here talking that shit. You know, Wilder and Fury 3 would be bigger than Anthony Joshua and Fury. Well, I heard that shit going to work one day. Do you guys remember that shit? Martha Stubbs, 57 seconds. That is, come on, 57 seconds. Oh, it's all good, D-Town. Yeah, that shit was retarded when he said that. And you could tell, like, dude, you are a fan of Wilder, which there's nothing wrong with being a fan of Wilder. See, this channel differs than those channels there. They're a lot about tribalism. You start saying some shit about, you know, I think Anthony Joshua beats Wilder. You're going to get fucking deleted. You're going to get deleted so fast because it's going to be like, yo, you don't talk that shit over. Again, it's like being in church. That's like going to a church on Sunday and you're a 7-day Adventist. Are you guys familiar with a 7-day Adventist is? Those are people that go to church on Saturdays because Saturday is a Sabbath. So that's just like them going into a church and saying, you know what? You guys shouldn't be here today. You guys should be here. You guys should have been here yesterday because you guys are not obeying the Sabbath. They're going to kick you out. That's what they do over there in those boxing channels. I'm a Fury fan, but Joshua can beat him for sure. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, we don't know until they fight. Wilder will KO Fury next time. Trust me. Okay, that's a prediction. You're an AJ hater. You're an AJ hater and you're jealous of AJ. Your modes are trigger happy. Unsubbed. Dixie, what? What the fuck? You get a hold of this, guys. This is some funny shit. Dixon Cider. Dixon Cider. He says you're an AJ hater and you're jealous of AJ. Your mods are trigger happy. Unsubbed. See you later. Alla fucking Gator. Wow. I mentioned Kurt's name on the bum channel for I got banned. Hell yeah, you get banned. You can't say Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. You can't say that shit. You can't even say, I heard Kurt. One of his thousands of moderators and shit will ban you. Kurt, no. We can't say shh. Hit the button. Fuck it. Hit the button. Unrivaled boxing talk. Can't say anything to him without being beheaded. Nah, you ain't gonna say shit to him because you know what that means? That shows that's an example. That's an example of being of having a weak audience. See, when you don't let people speak, you don't want certain things said because you know your audience may see that and may really start thinking about what the question that was answered. Instead of saying, oh yeah, you right. Oh yeah, we love you. Oh yeah, you this. Oh yeah, you that. We like you. This, that, you know, much love, King, and all that bullshit. But they know that if you start asking, they allow certain questions and certain people to ask those questions. They don't, another thing, they know they don't want those questions to be answered, but they also know they don't want you to bring attention to yourself. So if you go over there and they're on a live stream, it's 1,000 fucking people, or how many people in there, they don't want you to ask a question that don't seem like it's a hate or nothing like that. It's a question that makes you go, right? And then they'll start thinking, and then they'll click on your channel like, oh shit, he got subscribers, and they go to that and start listening, and then they'll start being educated in a totally different way. That's one thing that they don't want. It's almost like a religion. It's like, yo, don't be a Baptist because you're a Catholic, you know? And if you're Catholic, don't go to the Methodist church, okay? And you're Methodist, don't go over to the Jehovah's Witnesses. You're Jehovah's Witnesses, don't go to the synagogue. You know, don't go there. Don't do that. You don't do that. They don't do that over there. You're friends with Bruce Vane, aren't you? Yeah, I know Bruce Vane. Yeah. That's little brother over there. That's little bro. Hit the like button because I'm older than him. That's why I say that. But Fanon just said Wilder's best Wait, Fanon just said Wilder is the best heavyweight the last 20 years. Yeah. Fanon would say that. But understand, you have guys, Fanon, Blue Blood Sports TV, and you see you have these guys that like um they're pretty known. They're not smaller channels, and the smaller channels are kind of under them. And I've learned this. That's why like a lot of people said, "Man, did you hear what BFTB said about you?" And I'm like, "Who the fuck is that?" And they were like, "Oh, well, that's the dude. He's LDBC channel." But then I don't know him because understand how YouTube works. The smaller your channel is, the less uh exposure you get from scrolling. So a lot of these channels, like you have Dante's Boxing Nation, then you might have Sporting Icons, then you might have Bruce Vane, and might have my channel, then you have like Ring IQ, then like Boxing Wave, you know what I mean? But those channels are over 10,000 plus. Okay, so those you'll see first when you're dealing with boxing. So you type in boxing on YouTube, those are going to be going to pop up along with the associated channels. But those channels are they get there based on their amount of subs and the amount of people view them and the amount of traffic that comes to those channels. Those guys like Blue Bud and Fanon, they got bigger channels. So you're going to see them first. So the guys that are under them that are kissing their ass, they don't be seen. So I don't know them. I like if you scroll through something, unless someone says, "Hey man, go to this channel," and then you get the name. Then if you go to the channel, then that's the only way a lot of times. But those smaller channels like that, you don't know of. So a lot of times I don't know of those smaller channels. But all of them preach the same shit because it's almost like Floyd. Floyd started talking this shit about my numbers is higher than his, so I'm the A side. A side. Whoever fuck ever brought that up. I'm the A side. He created that. I make more money. My pay-per-view my if you look at my numbers, my pay-per-view numbers are a lot being more than his. So why should I fight him? Versus he doesn't bring in the numbers that I bring in. So me being the A side, I feel that I should call the shots. And if we don't see that there's a financial reason to fight that fighter, why should I be fighting that fighter? That type of shit. Well, they believe, well, if you talk about Wilder enough, you'll get numbers like me. But what they don't tell them is, if you are a part of a consortium of channels, and let's say it's 10 of those channels, and if it's 10 LDBC channels, only so many of those channels are going to be looked at more than the others, because you can only look at so many fucking channels. It's 10 of them, right? So if it's 10 LDBC channels, this guy might have 3,000 subs, and he's trying to be like Blue Blood that has damn near 100. Well, he'll never be like Blue Blood. Unless he has a niche or something like that, like Aki, all that lion and shit. He did that, so his shit boosted out of nowhere. But he was under Dante. So he was like really the predecessor under Dante's Boxing Nation. That's why he was able to use Dante's thing to promote his own channel. So a lot of those guys, they do all that because they're trying to be like that guy up there. So it's all about where they're trying to go in this boxing talk industry. You see what I mean? Instead of knowing what you like, knowing what's right, knowing what's wrong, knowing who's better, knowing who's not, knowing who's ducking, knowing who wants to be the best, knowing who's this or who's that, the real from the face, from the fake, all that shit. Like my channel. That's what I promote. Like, look, I'm going to give you my honest opinion on this shit. It's not based on this, it's not based on that. It's just how I feel. Martha Stubbs, appreciate you. Keep up the good work. I will try. I once said that being on Fanon's channel was like listening to to chants to a dark Babylon god. That's what it's like. It's like being in a cult or in a church that preaches a certain way and they teach a certain type of doctrine. So over there, Deontay Wilder is some type of prophet that was fucked over in a fight that was unjudged, that was judged very wrongly. You know, then other people will tell you, well, that's not true because based on what we know, you know, based on the facts, that didn't happen or this didn't happen. But Kurt tells it how it is, proper bloke, and knows his stuff. Respect only the guy I listen to. Brendan Bernard, appreciate you, brother. Do you watch UFC? Yeah, I watch UFC. It's entertaining. That's some good. It's good. It has some pretty good fights on it. And like boxing, those fights that are the guys that aren't the best are the best fights. You know, those top fighters that look what happened to what's my boy's name? Israel Adesanya and what's the Cuban fighter's name? Romero, right? That fight sucked. That fight stunk up the place. But the undercard was the shit. Right? That was awesome. That's what everybody was talking for. You know? Purism. Sporting icon paid for subs. I have no factual evidence that he paid for subs. And look at it like this. If sporting icon, purism, paid for subs, then why the fuck does he have so many views? So you can tell, like, paid for subs is like, hey, I've got 40,000 subscribers, but I only have 400,000 views. That doesn't make sense. That's just it. Those channels are Wilder fan channels. This is a boxing fan channel. This is me. Yeah, that's true. Key TV channel only created and got big thanks to Donate or Dante. Yeah, that's it. Mayweather made up the A side. Yeah. Think about, tell me a fighter that said A side before Mayweather. I think AJ ducked Wilder. Well, do you know AJ offered him more money than anybody else has? So, do you know that too? Hi, Kurt. Counterpunch to you, bro. Love your channel, The Truth. Dean Bayless, appreciate you, brother. Uh-oh. Troy Graham is at you there. Their Quans. Their Quan. Yeah, Yoel Romero. Yeah. But that fight sucked. That fight sucked. It stunk the whole place out. But the Asian girl versus, I think the girl was from Sweden, and she had the lump on her head. I can't remember her name. But I think the Asian, I think she was from China, like Zian Zhao or some shit like that. But that was a great fight. Very great fight. Very good fight. Afternoon, Big Kurt, and the members of the chat. Jerome Benjamin, Counterpunch to you. Andre Rodriguez, it's like to read the night story to our kids. After a while, it's all about the story they want to listen. There you go. Oh, he's going to fight in Bellator. And you know, Romero's like freaking like 44, something like that, 45. Wilder ducked White. Yeah, he pretty much told White. He pretty much told White that he didn't have to fight him, and he didn't. I mean, it's true. I ain't signing it. I don't have to fight you. He never accepted 50 mil. He ducked, accepted the 50 mil. You got a fighter. Why would, okay, $50 million. You have the UK and the US. The UK is 5 to 6 to 7 hours ahead of America, the US. Why the fuck, knowing that you're in a totally different time zone, damn near in a different day sometimes, most of the time. So if it's 9 o'clock p.m. here, it's another day in the UK, right? It's Tuesday night, or should I say now it's Thursday night. If it gets when it gets 9 p.m., fuck it, when it gets 6 p.m., it's already 12 o'clock in the UK. Why the fuck, knowing you're sending a contract to someone that's 6 hours ahead of you, why would you put a 24-hour time, a 24-hour timeline on it, time frame? Quan, you know that, right? You know that shit was for 24 hours. Speak your mind sports. Counterpunch to you. Halim, no one. And you're referring to the Floyd? I'm the A side. The boxing voice is Wilder's mouthpiece. He's one of them. G_Mac Kid. Bless up, brother. Counterpunch to you. I think that if pigs had wings and birds had none, my windshield wipers would barely run. Bars. Kimbo Slice versus Houston Alexander UFC was the worst in Vlad. Dude, Kimbo Slice versus Dada 5000 was the worst fucking Bellator I ever seen in my life. It was the worst fight I ever seen, period. Those guys were fighting like they were heroin addicts or some shit. Bars. Quan, if you got offered a job for a lot of money, but they can't prove that they can pay you and don't want your bank details, would you take the job? You know, the $50 million, we talked about that shit so much a couple of years ago to the point where in 19 and 18, a lot of stuff didn't make sense. Nobody was on the same team. You had Steven Espinosa saying that he didn't need a British promoter. Frank Warren saying that he was the British promoter. And that's a lie. So that's a contradicting thing right there. Right? Then you had Frank Warren saying, like, hey, yeah, well, we were going to offer Wilder 30 and give Anthony Joshua 50. But they were going to buy rights to it, you know, and what was confirmed by Lou DiBella already told those guys. I hope Quan's still here. I hope I'm not wasting my time because I need to educate the brother, you know, where he went. Quan, you still there? Yes or no? You still there? Because, you know, I don't want to be wasting my time because it is a redundant topic. That shit's been mowed over. $50 million. Good, cool. Quan, great. I'm glad you're here. Now, Lou DiBella said, yes, it was to buy the rights from Anthony Joshua so he can fight on Showtime. Okay? But if Frank Warren was involved, Frank Warren exclusively deals with BT. So that meant the $50 million was supposed to cover his breach of contract from Sky Sports, which he just renewed that year in 18 to fight on Sky Sports, right? So then Sky Sports, that's a network. That ain't a fucking fighter like Wilder. Networks has the power to sue you if you come and say, you know what? Imagine Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd got that contract, remember, like I think he did it in 13. He got like a $60 million contract or some shit like that. Imagine Floyd saying, I'm gonna go fight Manny Pacquiao for $50 million on HBO.
Hey, Big Bob.
Dude, Showtime would have been like, the hell you are. So it would have caused Joshua. It didn't see the saying the $50 million wasn't there. They had no contract saying that it was there. That's the silliest shit you ever seen. If someone tells you We got $50 million. They're going to send you the contract so you can look it over. Just like what's happening right now. The contracts are being sent over so they can look at it. All the judges. They didn't have a fucking contract. It was a bluffing situation. They used what Anthony Joshua said. Hey, I'll fight him tomorrow for 50 million. Even if Joshua, if Joshua would have said 100 million, they would have said they had 100 million. And then there's another thing you think about. If AJ wanted to fight, he could have accepted. How was he going to accept fucking $50 million from BT Sports and somebody else when there's no contract saying that, hey, this is the money that you're going to get? And listen, it ain't like Anthony Joshua turned the money down. He didn't turn down the money. He questioned where the money was coming from. He did, along with Eddie Hearn. They questioned, okay, send us the contract. They said, no, you have to accept the terms on an email before we send you the contract. What fucking idiot is going to do that? That's stupid. Sign it first. That's just like, hey, sign this email to confirm that you signed a contract that you claim you have, but you won't let us see the contract before we sign it. You see what I mean? It doesn't even make sense. I wouldn't do that. El Kazi 1971. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. That's just dumb. I mean, it didn't even make any sense. 24-hour debt. Come on, you got an expiration date on a $50 million contract? That's the type of shit you want to be ironed out. You know what I mean? $50 million, take it or leave it. Where's the contract? Just say you own it first. You gonna take it? Take it. Take it. Take what? That shit could be $5 million. It could have been a situation, and this is what I think. I think if Joshua would have, or they would have agreed to fight for $50 million, they wouldn't have had an agreed $50 million. They would have had a pay-per-view guarantee of $50 million. That's not the same. That's not the same at all, because it's like this. Maybe not. Look, what is the base model for Showtime and PBC, Fox? Especially for Showtime, because that's what it was. And look, Josh was fought on Showtime, right? But they have to have, like Lou DiBella said, if you did your research on this shit, because I have, right? Lou DiBella said you have to have a British promoter to negotiate the British terms. Fuck. Anthony Joshua was with Eddie Hearn, so why didn't they contact him? See, he was a silent partner. He admitted that, hey, I was going to be the BT network, because he was going to be the bridge to BT, to have it on BT. Anthony Joshua with Sky Sports. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I'm trying to explain to you. Joshua couldn't say, you know what? Let me work with Frank Warren. You can't do that shit. You can't go talk to another promoter about having a fight without your promoter. He would have been, matter of fact, Eddie Hearn could have just turned around and sued Anthony Joshua. Come on, bro. You got to think. You just start thinking about this shit. You got to do your research. And I know you've heard a bunch of bullshit about the $50 million was there. The $50 million. The $50 million is only as good as the contract that the $50 million is on, that you sign. So therefore, some motherfucker don't pay you. You can say, guess what? I got copies of me signing for $50 million. So bitch, you better pay me or I'm going to sue you. That's what you call arbitration, Quan. I still want to see AJ and Wilder too. I want to see what that fight will produce. And no, there's not no exact winner, because we know Deontay Wilder can punch. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. It never had anything to do with the dynamics of the fight, so I'm not picking one or the other. But what I'm saying, the negotiations were shady. Sketchy as fuck. Incomplete. Didn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with being a Wilder fan, but being a Wilder fan shouldn't make you overlook the obvious, overlook facts. That shit, you're like, well, okay, that don't make no sense. If you start really thinking, you just got to understand, like, certain people do certain things. But Quan, do you also understand that they offered Deontay Wilder that money? And what do you say about that? What do you say about the fucking 100 million that they offered him to fight Anthony Joshua for 2 fights? What do you say about that? Are you still here? Do you think he should have took that? They set him down and explained the money that he was going to get. It was going to give him twice as much they're going to give him $20 million to fight is mandatory. And he didn't take it. So what do you say to that? Hello? Did you leave? I mean, I wouldn't leave if somebody talking to me. But at least the shit too thick. You can't, fuck it, can't take it. Fuck it. And I'm going to Blue Blood. Blue Blood. Kurt DeVille said this. I got to go back to my church. My church provides the answers that I want to hear. I love you, Wilder. I love you, man. Okay, you agree. I'm glad you're here. See, so we can't say, well, this, that, no. They set Wilder, Heyman, Ludabella set it up. They set these motherfuckers down. Right? No, he's here. Yeah, Quan Big Guns, he's here. So they set him down. And do you understand? Because Ludabella set that up, they fired Ludabella. Make that shit make sense. They fired Ludabella for some Ludabella trying to do the right thing for his fighter, and his fighter was Deontay Wilder. And they didn't want to fight. They did not want to. Look, Shelly Finkel, Deontay Wilder, Al Heyman, Ludabella, John Skipper, Eddie Hearn, Anthony, they weren't there because they were trying to make the fight work. Understand? Okay, and Eddie Hearn specifically wasn't there because he knew that would have just caused friction because Shelly Finkel and Eddie Hearn don't get along, and because Shelly Finkel and Eddie Hearn doesn't get along, Eddie Hearn and Deontay Wilder don't get along. Since Shelly Finkel's the manager of Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? And but here's the thing. They had a structure. They wanted Wilder could have been fighting on the zone. He could have been in a better position, but I think Finkel, you call Finkel a rat. I think Finkel didn't believe in Wilder like he claims because he knows. Do you understand? Finkel also managed Vladimir Klitschko. Why didn't that fight happen? Tay Jones told me that Wilder wanted that fight. He told me Wilder wanted that fight. But he couldn't explain why Shelly Finkel didn't get him that fucking fight. Do you see what I'm saying? He had the wrong team. Counterpunch. He's always had the wrong team. But that's what happens when you're loyal to dummies. But it's ironic. If you're loyal to people that don't do you right or lie to you, don't expect other people to do anything different. Like the fans. It ain't it's just what Tay Jones said to me. I'm just saying. But the facts remain. He never fought Vladimir Klitschko. And Shelly Finkel said he's a baby champion. If he said he's a baby champion to the public of the boxing world, everybody that would hear it, why the fuck would he set up a fight anyway? He didn't believe in Wilder like that. He believed that Wilder wasn't ready. That's what that means. He tried to protect Wilder. You see what I mean? He tried to protect Wilder. Maybe he tried to protect Wilder for the best. Who knows? Because we don't know. I mean, did Wilder make... Wilder is outspoken. And the older he got, the more he talked. He could have expressed himself with Vladimir. He could have said, hey, Vladimir Klitschko, but he likes Vladimir. He knows Vladimir is a fucking OG. He's an OG. You know what I'm saying? He's an OG and he knows that. That's why Wilder didn't come out of his mouth and say sideways shit to Vladimir. That's why he stayed quiet when Vladimir and Anthony Joshua battled in England. He was the fucking commentator. He didn't say, hey, don't wait, make the date. I'm the WBC. Fuck Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, 400 pounds, which he was. Why are we talking about Tyson Fury when they should be talking about me? He didn't have that kind of attitude at all, people. I'm trying to tell you. He didn't have that same energy. He started talking that shit late 17 that bled into 18 when offers were starting to be sent to him, and he turned them down. Quan, you do understand that he turned them down. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. He had 33 fights by then and was a champ and was still a baby. Yeah, it sucks. It does suck. It was disrespectful to me. Disrespectful to me. Quan, where you at? Did you get all that? Because like they say, like Budweiser, this Bud's for you. You know? So, no, Wilder did not fire Finkel. So we think. Now, here's the thing. I was told that he did after the fact that people said he didn't. Kinkle. Kinkle knew he was his level. Wilder doesn't. Remember Wilder and his family visiting the Vatican, and the Pope. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool stuff. He was with Mauricio at the time and his girl. I forget her name. I keep forgetting that girl's name. But, yeah, he was at the Vatican. Vladimir would have had Wilder singing the USSR national anthem in perfect Russian if that fight would have went down. Glass ain't glass. um, Vladimir and his brother, man, they really had the heavyweight division hostage for a long time. That was like they had that shit like Fidel Castro had Cuba. They did. They had that. You know? They had that shit. You hope Wilder fires Finkel? Well, hope it's true. But then just because we hope for something, just because we want something, Quan, don't mean the shit's gonna happen. Saying that to say this, just because you hear someone saying that, hey, Wilder's this and Wilder is in control and he's Tyson Fury's not gonna fight Wilder. The only thing Fury can do for Wilder now is to pay Wilder if Wilder wins his arbitration, because the arbitration is only for money. It's a suing case. You know, you go to sue some fucking body, that's all that's happening. Wilder's gonna sue him. That has nothing to do with the fight at hand. And look, if anything, if Tyson Fury is in fear of being sued or coming off some money to Wilder, you know you're gonna see the Anthony Joshua fight. Then let me give you another example, or let me give you a comparison. You guys remember when Manny Pacquiao fell in all that money? He got in that tax problem in the U.S. You guys remember that? For a show of hands, you guys remember when Manny Pacquiao had tax problems like Rocky Balboa? I need the money to pay my taxes in the United States government, right? And Floyd, he just need that money because he needs to get out of taxes. He should have took the $40 million that I offered him. I called him on the phone directly. I offered him $20 million. I will wire $20 million a day and $20 million after the fight. You guys remember that shit? That was real. That was real. So that was the deal. You know, and if you feel Tyson Fury, understand Tyson Fury's not going to fight Wilder. Tyson Fury and Wilder in a court case for Wilder to get compensation for the times or the fight that never happened. And and the thing is, who's to blame for that? So if they found out like both of you motherfuckers are really to blame because Wilder, you had a shoulder injury, then you had the pandemic. I mean, how can you blame any of those? So it might be a wash. Okay? Yeah, the Dark Ages. Albuga, the Dark Ages. So he didn't duck AJR White. I mean, well, what happened? He allowed the people on his team not to take the fight for him. You don't remember White with the shit that in box he called White a peasant. You know, look, just because you duck a fighter don't mean you're the worst person in the world. You know, people duck all the time. However, it ain't like you're cheating. It ain't as bad as being a cheater. Because when you're a cheater, you're just a cheater. You know. Yeah, how you call somebody a peasant? He did, because he said kings chase kings. Wilder said kings chase kings. And Dillian White was not a king in his eyes, even though he had the same fucking belt. Like literally, the WBC interim belt, if you look at it, it's the same exact prototype to the belt that Wilder has. They both had the same fucking belt, which is retarded because it's like, well, damn, couldn't the WBC super heavyweight world championship belt be something different besides the fucking interim? Should it have like a few more diamonds on it or some shit? You know? Dun, 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 dun. In this corner, we have Deontay Wilder. Dun, 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 dun. He's claiming that Tyson Fury owes him a fight that never happened. Dun, 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 dun. So he's accusing Tyson Fury dun, 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 of ducking out of the fight. And he's suing for $20 million. Dun, 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 dun. And the defendant we have dun, 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 Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Dun, dun, dun. He claims the contract expired. Dun, 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 dun. And he claims he doesn't owe anybody nothing, and he prepares for a fight with Anthony Joshua. Dun, 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 dun. All rise. Oh man. Kurt, let that dude Quan know that not accepting an offer because you don't know what AJ was making is the worst excuse ever, and a baby champ can't be a king. Well, let's start from the bottom back. It's disrespectful that Shelly Finkel called him that, but it also lets you know that it's a level of disrespect, but you can't fight Wilder's battles for him. You can't do it. You can't fight his battles for him. You have to understand that when Finkel said that, there should have been a counterpunch. There should have definitely been a counter, a rebuttal, a reply. You know what I'm saying? And no one can make Wilder say anything. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. So if he didn't say anything to defend himself, you really can't defend anything for him. You could just see the comment made. He never responded to that comment. And people never, you know what I mean? People didn't, no one never asked him that question. So can he be a king? Yeah, he can be a king, but being called a baby champ or a, you know what I mean? Or a baby king, you know, he didn't defend himself. Now, the offer, not accepting the offer, I mean, that's a duck. Because the offer was structured. The offer was for 3 fights. And the fight that he was already on the table, so he couldn't get out. They gave him a situation where it was an easy transition over to the zone. And he chose he basically pulled an Errol Spence. What Errol Spence is doing right now with I'm not fighting ESPN, Terrence Crawford. He's doing one of those situations. He just did it first. He picked a network loyalty over himself. And the network showed him like, bitch, you shouldn't have done that because we don't want you to fight on our platform anymore. They gave him $10 million because he took that sit down as fuel and to bargain with Showtime. And Showtime said, you know what? We're not going to give you 20, but we're going to give you $10 million. We're going to give you half that, and then we're going to stage a pay-per-view for you against whoever, right? And that was with Ortiz. So we can make your money back in the rematch, and then that's the money that you'll get for the $20 million. that you would have got if you would have took the DAZN deal. But that's only the 20 million for starters, which didn't make sense because if you'd have looked at it, what about the 40 million and another 40 million? So he didn't take it. And when he fought Dominic Brazil, it wasn't on pay-per-view, and the shit went viral. I mean, as far as the knockouts and stuff, and it's millions of views. That Deontay Wilder hit Dominic Brazil, knocked him out faster than Anthony Joshua. Was very impressive. It was. I love that fight, But after that, Showtime showed him why he shouldn't have been loyal to a network. He should have took that money because all money's green. It don't matter where the fuck it comes from, But that's the thing when you try to be loyal to a network where they owe you nothing, and they showed him. They dropped him. So then what Al Heyman did, he sent him on the PBC Fox route. He couldn't fight for Showtime no more. But that's the same person that he decided, well, I'm going to stick and stay loyal. You guys remember that. Quan, you got to remember that. I'm going to stay loyal to Showtime. Well, Showtime wasn't loyal to you. He just made the wrong decision. But but here's the thing. You talked all that shit about somebody being scared and a coward, and you got all this money to fight the dude that's scared or a coward, and you turn it down for what is your reason? Because of Showtime? I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did all that shit and talked all that shit about a man being scared only to have the right to fight him for the fucking career high payday money because of fucking Showtime? I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think people was in his ear that gave him that type of, gave him that type of instruction because Al Heyman don't give a fuck about the money. He gives a fuck about the money that he can make his fighters. He can't control what's going on at DAZN. He doesn't. Al Heyman is a control freak. Okay? That advisor title, that means, hey, I run shit. You see what I'm saying? I run shit. He couldn't do that with DAZN. DAZN came with all that fucking money. They're going to give Deontay. Then that, you know what that means? DAZN then could take every Wilder fight. If he was going to fight on DAZN, they could take every Wilder fight and put it on DAZN. Because see, once you sign to DAZN, those fights, they get automatic access to your vault. Look at those Floyd fights. It didn't matter if it was on Showtime or wherever the fuck it was. They own rights to that fighter. Because that fighter, anything that fighter does, they can go back and get those and post it on DAZN. You think I'm bullshitting? Look at those. Look at those fights that you see. Mr. Park, Lou did his job and got fired. Look, Quan, they fired Ludo. Yeah, they got all the heavyweight fighters, but what I'm saying is things happen for certain reasons, and we go back to Errol Spence. Errol Spence is the guy that's trying to be a company man. He's trying to stay with certain boundaries of networks, which he shouldn't even be caring about none of that. He should be caring about fighting the best, but he's caring about the most money. So, but Al Heyman, he doesn't. That's just like this. Let's look at it this way. I'm giving you the last example. That's like your boss or your CEO, and you are a vital asset to the company. And they know you work for Coke, and they know you can go to fucking Pepsi, and you're making $150,000, but they know that Pepsi's gonna start you off at $180,000 or $250,000. He may give you an incentive to stay just so you won't have to take the job. Now, he can't match the 250, but he'll give you a raise to keep you there. That's what they did to fucking Wilder. That's exactly what they did to Wilder. Romella King. He has no one to blame but himself. Ultimately, that's true. He's a grown ass man. He's a grown ass man. I mean, he has nobody to blame but himself for taking the deals that he did. He's supposed to beat Tyson Fury. Now, here's the thing, though. If he would have beat Tyson Fury in February of 2020, would we be looking at a fucking Anthony Joshua Deontay Wilder showdown right now? That's the question. That's the question. See, we don't know, but then what are the odds based on what we know now? And see, had he beat Tyson Fury, we would have never heard Deontay Wilder admit that Anthony Joshua offered him more money and he could have took that or should have took that. If Wilder had all those fights, easy $50 million plus. But of course, this is old school shit we're talking about right now. You know, this shit already happened years ago. That's damn near 2 years ago now that he turned down that fucking money. It was almost a year ago he got his ass whooped. I think TC versus Spence will never happen unless someone leaves their promoter. Quan, it ain't gonna happen then. Errol Spence don't want that fight. He wants to fight Canelo Alvarez for the big, huge bucks. It's like this. Floyd Mayweather was at 130. Sugar Shane Mosley was at 135. They were trying to get a super fight between those two, because Floyd was thinking about moving up, and Sugar Shane was the man at lightweight at 135. Well, Sugar Shane Mosley didn't fight Floyd at that time. He moved up past 140 to take on Oscar De La Hoya. Sugar Shane Mosley was so good at lightweight that he was able to actually beat Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah, he duck Floyd? Yeah, he ducked Floyd, but he fought Oscar. He beat Oscar. But is Sugar Shane known to be a ducker? No. Now, Errol Spence, the difference between Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, and Floyd and Mosley, they weren't that known. That wasn't a De La Hoya Trinidad fight. So that wasn't a De La Hoya fight, Trinidad, because those were the fights people wanted to see. They wanted to see. They wanted to see Trinidad, De La Hoya, which we saw. We got in 1999. Then you had fights like Barrera Morales in 2000. Then that's when Sugar Shane, later on in the year, went to 147 to fight Oscar De La Hoya. Then Trinidad left 147, moved to 154, and fought the best guys there at the time. He was offered 120 for 3 fights, but you make less than 20 million for your next 3 fights. That's a super duck. Yeah, they went the wrong route, people. That's all. His team fucked him. He made the wrong decision, and that's it. Spence has no business moving up to fight Canelo. He has work to do in the division he is in right now. Well, that Joshua Lil John, that just shows you what arrogance will do for you. Arrogance will get your ass beat. He thinks he can do that. But see, Errol Spence, though, he's always said that he could beat Canelo. He's always said that he can stop Golovkin. You don't remember him saying that? I'll stop Golovkin. I'm like, damn, wait, he's 147 saying he'll stop Golovkin? You know? I mean, he's a big kid. Young. Ryan, morning to you. Counterpunch to you, brother. Rejected all 5 contracts. There's a lot of contracts that were sent Wilder's way for a guy that's supposed to be ducking, scared, or begging, because he was a ducker, he was scared, he was a coward, he was desperate, and when he got knocked out by Ruiz, he didn't have the heart of a true champion. Those are all the things that Wilder said about Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua ate that shit. He ate it until then Wilder, what, 8 months later? No, 7 months later, loses. Same fucking round, stopped. He got beat up too. He was dropped twice. Joshua was dropped 4 times. But then Joshua, they asked Joshua, because you know people are instigating. You know, Rashi, Dakota, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. I hope you're breaking a leg somewhere. Wilder dragged Joshua's name through the mud for years. Yeah, he did. He really did. Did Bo no join the Marines? I don't know. I think Caleb Plant is stylistically a nightmare for Canelo. It'd be a good fight. That's the fight I want to see. White guy versus white guy. Emma Till Great Oliver McCall. K.O. Lewis. How come Bo Prime ended so young? It doesn't have no set standard on how long a fighter's supposed to fight. Brain damage, yeah. And you get hit to the brain too many times. It's a bad thing. Very, very bad. Mary, where you at? Okay, my point exactly. Where you at, Mary? I'm looking. He took the wrong path. He did take the wrong path. Wilder fired DeBella because he got him $120 million offer. Counter that. I mean, it's true. People know that happened. What do you think of Billy Joe versus Canelo fight? What happens? I think it'll be a good fight. I think it'll be like Lara versus Canelo. No, Billy Joe's still in his prime, though. You know, I mean, he's young. He's, what, 30, 31? Wilder is retired. I keep hearing that. I don't think Wilder's retired. I hope he ain't. But if he keeps putting all this energy into fucking media arbitrations and shit and not focusing on that, he may be. No, I don't think Trout beat Canelo. I think the Canelo Trout fight was a lot closer than they said it was. Well, he didn't beat Canelo. Canelo dropped him, I think, in the 7th, 8th round. Caught him with a good right hand. It landed perfectly. Wilder was built by his team. He was never as great as they perceived him to be over 40 fights. Only 4 to top opponents. Shameful Joshua has accomplished to do much more in half the fights. And the big KO artist didn't want it with Lewis at the beginning. So that's okay. Yeah, I mean, Lewis would have destroyed him. What are you talking? Like, yeah, you don't want to push guys out there though before they're ready. I mean, for the record, well, it was a time where Wilder wanted to fight Anthony Joshua when Anthony Joshua just started too. When Wilder had about 25, 26 fights, he called out Joshua. Joshua had like 2 or 3 fucking fights. Now, I know people see that, and, you know, you see a lot on their channel. Well, he did duck Deontay Wilder. claiming he was not ready for the challenge of Deontay Wilder. I think it was like 2014, I believe. Did he call him out? Cheat Canelo versus Cheat Saunders. Yeah, nasal spray versus beef injecting. Great. Impressions leave my man alone. That impression. If they're not ready, they've no business holding the belts. That's true. Why should Wilder retire if he still can make a lot of money unless his health prevents him? Bogey. I think maybe people are, if he decides to retire, he's probably thinking like, yo, I made some good money on that last fight, even though I took an L, but it's the type of money that I made. It was more than I ever made in my entire career. So I'm going to retire on that. And hopefully I win the arbitration. So if I win the arbitration, I'll get more money. Why would I want to fight? You might think like that. Big up yourself, Kurt. I would love to see White Wilder. What is your prediction on the fight? Anybody can knock anybody out. It's a heavyweight division. He has to watch out for the straight right from Wilder. Wilder has to watch out for his left hook. Follow with his straight right and his up and his jab. But anyway, guys, this has been a great live stream. It's about to start lunch here soon, so I'm gonna get there ready for that. You guys, thank you for coming in. Everybody on the chat has been counterpunched. Be safe and have a great day. Peace.